Okay, Michael, hello, it's good to have you here. To begin with, can you start by introducing yourself and Vizsla Silver, and also, since we are here to talk about Vizsla Royalties Corp, you can talk about both companies if you want.
Yes, absolutely.
I heard there is even a third company, Vizsla Compound.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Mike Pettingell. I'm the Senior Vice President of Business Development and Strategy for Vizsla Silver. I am a geologist and an engineer by background, but I spent about 5 years working as an equity analyst at Canaccord Genuity. I launched coverage on Vizsla Silver and then came over to support institutionalizing the file. I'm also the CEO of Vizsla Royalties, which is a direct spin-out of Vizsla Silver. This was dividended out to shareholders, right?
And both companies are public, right?
That's right. The Vizsla Silver is listed on the NYSE American as well as the Toronto Stock Exchange under the ticker VZLA.
Which is the main market?
NYSE American.
NYSE.
We do about 3.6 million shares traded daily on that exchange, about another million shares traded on the Toronto Exchange. And then Vizsla Royalties, that trades on the Venture Exchange in Canada.
Okay.
Vizsla Silver's got a market cap right now of about 1.4 billion US. Vizsla Royalties has a market cap of about 300 million Canadian.
300 million Canadian. Okay.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. Right. So I guess it was spin-off a bit recently.
Yeah, we spun off the royalty portfolio privately. That would have been in January of 2024, and then listed it in August of last year. We then, at the royalty side, in June of this year, went and raised $40 million to purchase an additional underlying royalty on the Panuco asset. That's our only royalty in our portfolio, so we are a single asset royalty company, fully exposed to the success of Panuco.
Do you plan to expand this portfolio?
We are incrementally looking to expand. We're constantly reviewing opportunities. The royalty space is saturated. There's a lot of corporates.
Lots of companies.
And there's a lot of assets for sale, but they're marketed...
Not maybe at the right price.
Yeah, they're marketed
especially
deals.
now.
And I don't feel that, us as a spin-out corp could truly be competitive for some of these marketed deals, but we do have a competitive advantage in our country and in our region. In addition to having the royalty portfolio, which is a 3.5% net smelter return royalty covering the mine plan that Vizsla Silver has, we've also got a right of first refusal on any new royalties that Vizsla Silver is to create on its new properties.
Obviously, yes.
And they've quadrupled their land holdings beyond what we have exposure to. So there's a lot of room to continue just following Vizsla Silver here without having to go and buy another royalty in another jurisdiction or another commodity.
Okay, let's go back to Vizsla Silver. Panuco is one of your flagship sites. Can you tell us a little bit more about Panuco?
Panuco is arguably the world's largest, highest grade silver primary resource.
Which is, what did you say, just largest?
It's the largest, highest grade silver primary resource on the planet.
I think I've heard that somewhere, but okay.
Yeah, so it's in terms of high grade. There are larger silver resources.
But this one is the highest grade. Okay.
This one grades over 500 grams per ton in the resource.
That's a lot.
The reserves that were just published last week in our feasibility study highlight over 475 grams per ton into that mine plan, which is phenomenal. The average grade of projects in Mexico is around 200 grams per ton.
Which is good already.
But this doubles that.
Yes.
So now you can start to think about, often investors say grade is king. Well, I believe margin is king, right?
Yes.
And when you've got a low cost potential producer here with substantial grade in the commodity price environment we're in, well, that's the perfect storm to really drive free cash flows.
Are we talking about open pit infrastructure or
it's
underground?
It's an proposed underground project. It always has been. It's a vein-hosted district. It's really one of those classic fragmented land ownerships, right? Where the discoveries date back all the way to the conquistadors 450, 500 years ago, but they never had the ability to push it forward on a consolidated basis using modern technology. Therein lies the opportunity for Vizsla Silver. And so we acquired the district it would have been 2019, made our first discovery in 2020, and then every year, essentially since that discovery, through drilling, we've added 100 million ounces to the resource base. We now sit with 365 million ounces in total resource, although the reserve statement in the mine plan published in last week's feasibility only highlights about half of that, well, less than half, about 165 million ounces going into it. So there's still almost 200 million ounces of high-grade mineralization remaining to be converted, and we're focused on doing that now to enhance the value beyond.
How far into the drilling are you? What's your roadmap and the feasibility study? Yeah,
so the timeline to production now, given that we've accomplished so much in terms of de-risking the project, it's a permitting story. We submitted our permits in February of this year, anticipating receiving the positive approval in the first half of next year. Then you're into a 16 to 18 month build, so it's our intent to hit first production, first pour in 2027.
Yeah. But that's very short. I've heard that Mexico has changed a little bit legislation for drilling,
It's changed for the better.
For the better.
There was a new administration in Mexico as of last October, a new president, and Claudia Sheinbaum is her name. When she took office, there was a lot of speculation on open pit mining banning or reducing the concession timelines. That never would have affected us because A, we've always been an underground mine, but B, all of our concession timelines have been grandfathered to be, 30 to 50 year timelines. The average time it takes in Mexico, and I did a case study for our board of directors about a year and a half ago, the average timeline from initial discovery to initial production is 7 years.
Yes.
That's very tight in terms of the global landscape. I mean, there's some areas in Africa where it can happen quicker, likely through greasing wheels, but at the end of the day...
But Mexico, everybody knows that Mexico is the country of silver and everybody's been drilling there. And
hands down, the biggest producer of silver for decades, right? So, if you're following that 7 year timeline, with our discovery being in 2020, it puts us right on tee to hit the 2027 production. Everything that
2027 is the year for which you expect production to start.
Q4 2027 is when we anticipate first pour.
So that's roughly 2 years in the roadmap.
From today. Yes. And now if we expect permits in the first half, let's just say by midpoint of 2026, that puts us in an excellent way, given that we've got an ongoing test mine, we're already underground. The moment we receive those permits for the broader project, we are just mining right away and stockpiling.
Well, you say you're mining right away. You're an exploration company. You're not a production company, or are you going to morph into?
I would say that we're a developer,
a development company,
and an explorer developer, because we've only drill tested about 25% of our targets, our known targets to date, and we continue to find new ones. We've only mapped 70% of this district.
Yes.
So there's a lot of ground still to test. But in terms of the development timeline, it's all about permits. You get the permits. We've got a test mine that's fully permitted already that actually comes out of the initial capex that was stated in the feasibility. That will be main mine access once the broader permits are received. So in Mexico, you can go for something called a mini MIA, or a mini environmental permit, that's associated with an exploration decline.
Okay.
That decline's got us down now at year one worth of production. So we can take out 10,000 tons. That's the limit of the permit that we currently
10,000
have.
tons, okay.
Right.
But that's small.
It's small. It's a test. It's a test mine. It's not even a large enough bulk sample to truly reconcile to a resource block model. But we are able to, again, test the development rates, test the ground support, the pumping rates for water, the ventilation rates, all of these very important, call it key indicators before you can make a production decision, right? But everything is tracking very well as envisaged in our preliminary scoping study that we published last year, supporting the feasibility study that was just published last week. But the real key is this test mine program gives us a jump start of almost a year of development. We have 2 headings that will be in place. By the point that we get that main permit in the midpoint of next year, we just can start mining right away. We don't have to develop a box cut and portal and ramp down to the mineralization because we're already there.
I still didn't get if Vizsla Silver will be mining itself or will be partnering or
we are an independent that fully intends to develop, operate, and produce from the Panuco asset. These assets are company builders. The most direct analog to what we have from a geologic perspective is First Majestic's flagship San Dimas mine, formerly Tayotita. It built the company Gold Corp. It built the company, Wheaton Precious. That was their first stream. It does produce over 13 million ounces per year, and it's been in commercial production for over 150 years. It's located just 80 kilometers to the north of us. That is the size of the prize that we're after. Right?
Okay.
So scalable, high margin silver.
But then it requires a huge capex. So let's talk about money. What's your financial situation as of today? Do you require additional funding? If so, how will you proceed?
Yeah, so the project itself is actually a very low capital outlay. The capex stated in the feasibility study was $238 million US. The project has an NPV5 after tax of 1.8 billion US. That presents an NPV to capex ratio of almost 7 times, right?
Okay.
This is unheard of, frankly. Right now, Vizsla Silver has 203 million US in cash. We've announced a financing package. 200
million in cash.
Just over 200 million in cash.
Okay. I did some research and found only 100, but I understood.
No, it's 203 to be exact.
Okay.
And then you combine that with the financing package that was just announced, that brings it up and brings in another 250 million.
So it's more than enough to start mining.
That alone is 2x what the capital outlay required. So we are in a very strong position leading into this development of a world-class silver project that, by the way, if in production today, at the production profile that was highlighted in last week's feasibility study, we would be the 2nd largest silver primary mine on the planet, full stop.
Wow.
And you're talking about a snapshot in time that encompasses 8% of the known veins that we've identified today.
Yes. Okay.
So you can really start to get, I quoted San Dimas a moment ago. Over that 150 years of commercial production, it's produced over 1 billion ounces of silver equivalent, so gold and silver.
Okay. So you plan on doing it alone? Still, if a larger player, say First Majestic, Fresnillo, or Newmont, or whoever would approach you, what do you think would be your thoughts?
It's our vision here, as mentioned, to develop
yourself,
operate, and produce ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got an incredible team. The development side really led by our COO, Simon Smirlik. Simon has built over 40 mines in his 30-plus year career. He was formerly COO of Ausenco. Notable build recently for him was Silvercrest Las Chispas. Okay. So he knows how to do it. Yep. We've backfilled the development team with his expertise and his network. We have the skill sets to develop this. Okay. We've got the skill sets on the capital markets front. I think that's clearly demonstrated to finance this project. And our exploration team, led by Dr. Jesus Velador, is bar none. Jesus actually supported Dr. McGaw, who's an advisor to us, in the discovery of the Valdecañas vein at Juanicipio. That's Mag Silver's project. So Jesus has been involved in novel discoveries in country, and he's worked for all of those majors you just mentioned. Yeah. The reality of this project is it's superior to those. This project is so good, we recognize the value. You would have to come with an incredibly large number to be able to even have our board entertain it.
Okay. Okay. Before I focus on the topics of shareholders, one question I'm used to ask is, what are your activity on the ESG field? Do you support the locals, or what kind of things do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. You know, the social license to operate in Mexico is paramount. And we've made a point from day one, well before even our first resource came out, to really focus on the communities. So in Mexico, the way it works is you've got local land-owning groups called ejidos. Yes. They've got elected officials, and they hold the surface rights. The mining companies hold the mineral rights that are subsurface, yes, right, through the concessions. But to be able to access your project and actually push it forward, you need to have agreements with these local ejidos. Yes. We have 5 that cover our district. We've signed 30-year operating agreements
30 years, okay,
with all 5. So this is incredibly important, right?
Yes.
And we pay them all the same, whether or not you have 100 million ounces of silver equivalent on your ground, or you've got ground that we haven't even walked over and mapped. You all get paid the same, and this is all premeditated, again, to maintain that social license. We've been hosting health fairs in our district now. I think we've hosted 9 over the past 5 years. Providing access to these remote areas in Mexico. Right now, almost 2,000 individuals have had access to healthcare. Pediatricians, gynecologists, these types of things.
Okay.
We did great support, obviously, during COVID with testing,
yes,
but we've spent to date right around $8 million in 7 infrastructure projects,
okay,
to support the local communities.
Yes.
We've sent individuals to university that have the aptitude. We have 70% of our local our workforce on site made up of the local communities.
Wow.
So
okay,
no expats on site. If you want to work, you know, and can, we hire you. Right?
Okay.
We also have supported the local baseball team in the city of Mazatlan.
Okay.
We support them, which provides, you know, access to folks understanding about our health fairs. So, you know, we really are trying to ingrain ourselves into the community, and it's working. People come to us from all over, and they want to work with us because they see how well we are treating the communities.
What's the current market cap of Vizsla Silver?
Vizsla Silver is sitting around $1.5 billion US.
US dollars?
That's right.
Okay. And in a nutshell, since we've been interviewing quite a lot of companies, what could you give us 2-3 key catalysts for investing in the company? I understand the grades are just wonderful, and
yes,
every flag seems green, but if you can summarize your value proposal to potential shareholders.
Yeah, you know, this is there's risks in mining, obviously. Yes. There's technical risk. There's you know,
governmental
access to capital.
risk.
Yep. There's jurisdictional risk. I'll just wrap that into. And we can talk about those 3. And then there's permitting risk, right? Yes. So 4. The technical risk continues to be de-risked, largely through the test mine program that I mentioned, right? That is the most invaluable de-risking initiative we have ongoing. The capital risk, well, we continue to satisfy that. Come Monday, we'll be able to announce this project is fully financed, right? The jurisdictional risk, well, no matter where you go in this world, even tier 1 jurisdictions,
yes.
You will be faced with some sort of challenge. Now, in our case, yes, we do have the security element and the government element, but again, focusing on the local communities is the best thing you can do, and we've done that in droves, as I just mentioned. And then the permitting risk. That's the biggest catalyst moving forward. Now, our project, as I mentioned, dates back to the conquistadors. Never mind on a consolidated basis, and never mind commercially or using mechanized equipment. It was all mined optically.
Okay.
Old timers can never go below the water table. So,
obviously,
lots of historic workings littered throughout our district. Previously disturbed ground. All of our surface infrastructure that's proposed in the permit is on previously disturbed ground. That was premeditated, of course, to expedite that permitting horizon. The government has communicated to us that they do not view this project as a new greenfields build. They view it as a continuation of the 450 plus years of mining history that's undertaken in the region.
All right.
So I'd say we're doing our best to de-risk the project on all fronts. The true catalysts that remain, now that we've got the feasibility out and the project financing secured, it's the permits. Permits we're expecting in the first half of next year. And then the only other true catalysts is ongoing exploration success.
Yes.
I mentioned that we've only really tested about 25% of our known targets. That's contained on contiguous project number 1. Over the last 2 years, we've quadrupled our land package. We now have 4 drill rigs turning, 3 on our main project, 1 moved down to one of our newer acquisitions. When you talk about ongoing exploration success, that absolutely could support a re-rate in the stock.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michael.
Yes,
Thank you for
very
your
much.
time.